Happy Monday. Today we have a new dynamic progression. It's 3 rounds for quality. Movements consist of broad jumps, plyo push-ups, and jumping air squats, followed by a 40-minute ruck for max distance. Let's check it out. So first things first, your feet need to be hip width. Cool way to find that, imagine your feet are super muddy and you don't want to ruin grandma's carpet. You just gotta give them a little bit of a wipe, and that should set you in a nice position. Next, let's talk about how we jump. All right, in order to jump well, we gotta create some tension in our hamstrings. The only way to do this is to find your hinge. So I like to think about having a soft knee bend and then pushing my hips back. When I do that, you should feel your hamstrings start to turn on a little bit. Next, let's talk about where our hands go. For me, a great cue that works is hips back, hands back. Hips back, hands back. If you notice, and I do this well, my hips go back and my chest faces the ground. This should put you in a nice position to jump. Let's put it all together now. If you really want to get into it, reach up tall, feel that stretch, drive your hips back, and then I'll jump right into it. Normal push-up, all right? I like to go index finger right next to my shoulder. My abs are tight. Now I'm gonna rock my shoulder just over that knuckle. And what that's gonna do is you're gonna put your shoulders in a nice healthy position. Next, I want to talk about driving our elbows down and back. And what that should do is that should create some nice external rotation for you folks. Let's check it out. Now we got to add a little bit more force to this push-up. For me personally, I like to have a cadence of 3, 2, 1. Once it hits 1, I'm going to drive up hard. 3, 2, 1, drive. 3, 2, 1, drive. 3, 2, 1. My goal here is to finish through the fingertips if you can. Doing that should give you a little bit more force. And I'm also trying to not completely catch myself on the ground. You notice I tried to still maintain tension. So once I drove up, I tried to catch myself and then slowly lower down. If you can't do that, you could grab something on an incline as well. That should make it a little easier. You put your thumbs on your shoulders, move your ankles out towards there. Got to keep your abs tight, so squeeze your butt, squeeze your abs. Hip crease below my knee. Now I want you guys to focus on what your knees are doing. So for example, imagine the floor rips into 2 and I'm driving my ankles and I'm trying to spread the floor. When you do that, you should feel your hamstrings turn on, but also notice what my knees do. They go out slightly. If I can maintain that tension, your knees will always be in a great position. So for example, spread the floor and up. Now let's be a little bit more explosive. Before we go into a full-blown jumping air squat, I want you to focus on catching at the quarter position. For example, and hold. In this position, I want to make sure my knees are still tracking over my toes and my weight is still midfoot. Ruck coming up, it's a long time to be walking with weight. I need you guys to be very aware of what your abs and what your hips are doing. So you can put your thumb on your sternum, your other thumb on your belly button, squeeze your butt and squeeze your abs. Now everything is like a column. You do not want to be walking with weight overextended for this amount of time. Next, let's talk about what we're doing with our breathing. Since we're trying to keep this aerobic, low intensity, I want you to work on inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. If you can do that for about 20 minutes, and then once your heart rate starts to ramp up a little bit, maybe take a little bit of a longer inhale and still exhale through your nose. So let's grab your ruck. If you want to put some weight in here or a small child, it's up to you. A couple of things I want you to focus on. Strap up so it stays nice and high. Keep your abs tight. Again, we do not want to be walking with our hips flared back.